Alright, fellow YouTubers, fellow Kawasaki KLR 650 owners. This is the 2008 Kawasaki KLR 650. This is a video on the electrical system recall. It has a problem where the electrical cable has several rub spots on the frame, and Kawasaki did a recall for that. So if you want to take it back to the dealer, if you have electrical malfunctions, you want to bring it back, you can get a new wiring harness installed. If there is no problems, you still have to take it back so they can put armoring on the cable. Kawasaki, most dealers don't do a particularly good job of it. The kit that they get from Kawasaki is terrible. I would suggest that you go out and you buy some cable armor. It looks like that, and a roll of electrical tape. You're going to want to take off the sides and remove the seat, and then you're going to want to pull the fairings off the front, and you're going to want to remove the gas tank. Once you get all that stuff off, you can get full access to the wiring harness. There's 6 places where the cables rub on the frame and eventually wear through. This is a problem that you have to get addressed. It pretty much has a 100% failure rate. It's just a matter of how long it takes the cables to rub through before they short out. Start at the first place here. Once you take the gas tank off, you're going to obviously undo the fuel line here, the vacuum line here, and the 2 vent return lines here. There we go. Make sure you get the color coding on the vent lines right so they match the gas tank, because if you put them on backwards, you can have vapor lock problems. The first spot obviously is underneath the gas tank bracket, right underneath here. This is sharper than some of the knives I have in my kitchen. So what you're going to want to do is put a piece of 6-inch cable armor around the cable and run it that distance. Over here there is a tab. Don't know if you can see it. There's a tab right there that holds the cover on for the starter relay. That tab rubs against this cable and causes the wear on the power cable for the starter relay. Down here, this metal tab right here rubs against the sensor line for the kickstand. So if that wears through, what winds up happening is every time you put your bike in gear, it stalls out because it thinks the kickstand is down. Underneath the gas tank, all along here, there's no problems. The big problem is up underneath the steering head. There's 3 connectors underneath the steering head inside there. One of them comes from the left side here, and 2 of them come from the right side. The technical service bulletin that you can get from Kawasaki tells you to undo this clamp right here and throw it away, because the clamp also cuts into the cable. They tell you to take the 3 connectors out. They instruct you to reroute the 2 right-hand connectors along this fan guard here, all along there. You can see that they're tie wrapped along there. And when you do that, make sure your steering wheel is cocked all the way over to the left, and make sure that these cables have slack in them, so when you turn left you don't bind the ignition cables. And then you just tie wrap those up there. I took the Kawasaki horn out and I installed a car horn down here. Over on the left-hand cable, which you can see, they tell you to reinstall underneath there. You need to put electrical tape around the connectors, because up underneath here there is slag on the frame from their welds, and the amount of slag that each frame has is what determines how fast the cable wears through. I had very little slag. I've got 3,700 miles on my bike, and it was already starting to wear. So you want to tape these down with electrical tape. Then you want to cut off a couple 3 inches of cable armoring and put it on both ends. Kawasaki instructs you to take this part right here, just stuff it underneath there. What you should do is this part here, you can see that I bent it at a 45-degree angle so it's away from the armoring, and reinstall the part. Otherwise this cable is just going to be flopping around underneath here. So you definitely want to reinstall that. Over here is some kind of reinforcing gusset that they put on for the 2008 model year, and they routed cables right over top of it, and I think they paid a guy on the assembly line to stand there and sharpen that and then lay the cable over it. part of the instruction is to reroute the cable around that so it's not laying on top of that gusset. That takes care of everything underneath here. And then the last spot that Kawasaki doesn't recognize is over here. There's armoring on the cable from the factory. The leading edge of the gas tank cuts through the armor. At 3,700 miles, my armoring was already cut through, so I taped it up and put another piece of armoring on there. And this is the one that you'll have to watch, but this is just, you know, it's Kawasaki. When you take your bike in, if you have crash bars like I do, this is a no-charge repair from Kawasaki. If you trust your dealer to do it, the dealer is going to tell you that he has to charge you an hour's labor to get the crash bars off. As you can see, obviously the crash bars do not have to come off. You can wiggle the fairings off. The dealer that I went to wanted an hour labor to take the crash bars off. That's pretty much it. I will close this video out by saying, Kawasaki, wake up. If I wanted a bike that was built like a Dodge, I would have bought a Dodge. That's pretty much it. I hope this video's been helpful, and ride safe. Can you believe I said ride safe?